Hello everyone, today's video is another on multiple dwellings relief, the SDLT, stamp duty land tax relief for when you buy basically more than one property at the same time. There's this relief called MDR, multiple dwelling relief. It's not quite buy one get one free, but it is buy one get the second one at reduced price. So in this current topic, this current case went to the courts, another tax tribunal. What happened was husband and wife, they bought a property on 3 floors, a basement, ground floor and first floor, and they paid, what did they pay? £3 million for it. So they paid £3 million and they paid £250,000 in SDLT. So it's a lot of SDLT, £250,000, over 250 grand. And then they had the bright idea to say, oh, hang on a minute, why don't we claim multiple dwelling relief? Because really, the basement is more of an annex and, you know, it can be used separately from the main house. So they filed an amended SDLT return requesting a big refund from the £250,000 SDLT paid, claiming this multiple dwellings relief, saying, look, come on, this was actually 2 separate properties as far as the SDLT legislation is concerned. HMRC said, no, you can do one, and the whole thing went to court, and let's see how it panned out. So, the whole point on these annex rules is that was the annex and the main house suitable for use as separate dwellings? Separate dwellings. So could the basement be used as a separate dwelling on its own right, separate from the main house? And these cases turn on the facts. So you've just got to look at what happens, and essentially as well, the other key thing is it doesn't matter what you do with the building after you've bought it. It's all about the state that building or buildings are in at the time that you buy the property, that where the SDLT is due, obviously within 30 days of acquisition. So a dwelling is a person's home and should include a place to sleep, living accommodation, bathing and cooking facilities. Okay? These facilities should be provided with a degree of privacy and security, a sufficient degree of privacy and security. So that's what the rules say, basically. So in this particular case, there were factors pointing to both. There were factors pointing to the fact that, yes, you could argue it was a separate annex, and other factors that said, no, come on, really, it wasn't. So the factors pointing to the annex being a separate dwelling were the rooms in the annex were of a good size. The annex included 2 bedrooms, a living room, and 2 bathrooms. The annex did have external access. The occupants of the annex can deny access to the occupants of the main house. And the annex has its own utilities. The main house was very large and included all the basic facilities required for a dwelling and much more. So all those factors point so far as saying, well, okay, so that basement does, on the face of it, and those facts seem to be a separate annex. However, factors pointing to the property being a single dwelling, so the annex had no kitchen, nor facilities for the storage or preparation of food. The occupants of the main house could not deny entrance to the occupants of the annex, which compromised the security and privacy of the main house. So even though the annex, you could get into the annex separately from the main house, once you're in the annex, you could not be denied access to the main house. The occupants of the annex could enter the garage of the main house. The occupants of the annex could not be prevented from using the grounds of the main house. The annex did not have a separate council tax liability, and the annex did not have a separate postal address. The estate agent's particulars presented the property as one single property, not 2 separate, not a main and an annex. And the owner would likely be unable to sell either the main house or the annex to separate, unconnected purchasers. So when you read through all those, you think, oh yeah, okay, well that points to it being one combined, one single building, not 2 separate ones. So as it turned out, in this case, the tribunal said, look, the most important factors were the compromised privacy and security of the main house and the lack of food preparation facilities for the annex. So on the balance of the evidence, the annex was not a separate dwelling, and the multiple dwellings relief claim for reduced stamp duty land tax was not available. But an interesting case there, because it was, like I said, you read the points for it being separate first, and you think, well, yeah, that is a separate. And then you read the points for why it should be argued that it should be a single dwelling, and you think, oh, okay. So it did, but on the balance of probabilities, like I said, it was the fact that the annex had everything except a kitchen, but also the privacy of the main house was compromised. So that's just another video there on MDR. I've done a few of these in the past, but I always like to read about these when they come up in the tax journals, and that was a recent court case. So if you like this video, please do subscribe right there, and I will see you soon.